Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. There's been another big announcement for the Overwatch League, and with it, a brand new character skin. This time, it's going to be Mercy and the Los Angeles Valiant. So here is the little official thing that they put out just today. It says, the city of Los Angeles, California is where people from all over the world come to live out their dreams and where people fight to become the best they can be. It is this spirit that we present the Los Angeles Valiant, one of the two Overwatch League teams based in LA for the inaugural season. I actually didn't know that. There's going to be two teams in LA. The gold wing helmet represents both aggressiveness and protectiveness, values which resonate for Overwatch players working together in-game and Valiant parent organization Immortals as it starts a new adventure in the league. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Valiant. And of course, with the new team announcement comes a brand new character skin for their mascot. This time, representing the LA Valiant, it's going to be Mercy in the green and gold. So it's a pretty good looking skin. I'm not really a big fan of green though. I don't really care for it. And again, I kind of bring up the thing that I talked about in some of the previous videos. I don't want to go into it too much. But basically, Mercy is like one of the most played characters in the game. She is the most played character in the game. So if the different teams are basically selling, you know, their skins through microtransactions and stuff, it just seems kind of a bit uneven that, like, this team gets Mercy, so they're going to have a lot more sales than the team that has, like, you know, Torbjorn or Bastion or something, you know what I mean? And again, I want to say that I really hope that Blizzard creates an entire set of uniforms, not just this one character skin. Because it would be a lot cooler to have, like, the entirety of Team Valiant, whether it's a Mercy, a Reinhardt, a McCree, a Genji, whoever. If they're all wearing the green and gold in game, it would actually be a lot cooler than just everybody using the default skins. So that brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about. So I'm going to play a clip for you really fast. This is Noah. He is the CEO of the LA Valiant.
The Los Angeles Valiant is meant to represent the values that we've shown from our participation in other esports titles. What are those values? First, providing the best fan experience in esports. Ultimately, fans are the only thing that enable teams to compete. There's nobody watching, there's no event to hold, and there's no league to run.
So what he just said there is incredibly important, and here's the thing. When it comes to the viewership for existing Overwatch tournaments right now, they're not doing that good. I mean, it's not completely terrible, but they're still definitely struggling, and there is a massive amount of issues that are kind of plaguing the whole spectator experience for when you're trying to watch these pro tournaments. So the first thing to understand is that the player base for Overwatch is overwhelmingly casual. They have a very low interest in things like tournaments and esports. When you compare this to some of the other big heavy hitters like CSGO, Dota, League of Legends, the player base has a majority of people that are interested in tournaments, competitive stuff, esports, that sort of thing. So already right at the start, Overwatch and Blizzard are kind of skating uphill. You know, they have a pretty big hurdle that they have to get over in order to actually be successful. So in order to draw in these people who might not otherwise be interested in watching a tournament or esports in general, you have to give them an amazing spectator experience. And that is something that is just simply quite lacking in current Overwatch esports tournament type scene. So first of all, the fact that all the characters have to use the default skin makes it really boring. It also can get kind of confusing when you have a giant pink mech for D.Va on one team and a giant pink mech for D.Va on the other team. It makes it confusing to new people who are trying to watch their team. They don't know which one is on which team. And you would think having the colored outlines around the characters would make it easier, but in fact, it tends to actually make it a little more confusing, because you would think that the attackers would have the red outline, but that's not always the case. So again, that brand new viewer who is trying to watch these things just doesn't really know what's going on. And there's just a lot of other things that also kind of muddy up the whole experience, like there's way too much extra audio. You can hear all the different characters saying all their like little quirky voice lines and stuff, and when you're in the game, it's fun to hear that stuff. but when you're trying to watch the tournament, it just adds a whole lot of extra noise that you don't need to hear. And when it comes to important audio like ultimates, you don't know who is actually saying it. Did it come from the red team or from the blue team? Like, just the simple audio doesn't tell you which team is using that ult. And probably the biggest problem with not just the spectator experience, but the game overall, is the fact that the heroes are simply not balanced properly. Anytime you watch a tournament, it's always the same 7 or 8 heroes on both teams over and over and over again. Now, it might change in different tournaments, and that's because Blizzard goes in and they buff this, they nerf that, they change this, they redesign that. So yes, from one tournament to the next, there might be a change in what those 7 or 8 heroes are, but during the entirety of that tournament, you're only going to see those same heroes over and over again. And it gets really dull to basically see the same mirror match. You know, like this team has a Tracer, a Winston, a Diva, and a Genji. And the other team has a Tracer, a Winston, a Diva, and a Genji. It just, you know, it's the same thing just over and over again. So Blizzard just really needs to do a better job at balancing these characters. They need to take a step back and look at why more than half of their character roster sees basically no game time whatsoever during these big tournaments. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing that half of your character roster simply gets completely ignored. And I know some people always rush to the defense of their favorite character. They're like, oh, this character is fine. You just, you know, the old thing is you have to be good enough to use this character. All right, well, tell me, why are the pros not using that character in tournament? Why does that character have a 0% pick rate in the tournament? There's a reason for that, and it doesn't have to do with the fact that they're not good enough. These are literally the best players in the entire world. If they can't get XYZ character to work, then that character does not work. So we're getting closer and closer to the start of the Overwatch League, and it's very clear that Blizzard needs to make some pretty significant changes. I think if the Overwatch League succeeds, this is going to be a really great thing for esports. And I think if it fails and crashes and burns, it's going to do a lot of damage to a lot of other organizations and a lot of other parts of esports on its way down. And I do not want to see that at all. Anyways, guys, what do you think about all this stuff? The new skin for Mercy, the esports problem with Overwatch, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links for that stuff are down below. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.